That's all right.
We weren't going to mention it. We was
Good
just
afternoon, good people. You're watching Brudsy Entertainment. I am joined with the lovely Kitty and the lovely Manny AFC from TikTok. Manny, introduce yourself, buddy, to the fans.
Yes, hi guys. My name is Manny. Obviously, I'm an Arsenal fan, long life Arsenal fan, and obviously you can catch me on Manny AFC on all platforms. Thanks for having me.
Let's go. And the lovely Kitty over here. Kitty,
Hi.
introduce yourself again.
I'm Kitty. I'm Lady Kitty, and I am a lifelong Forest fan. For over 40 years, up and down like horse draws, but I'm still there. The City Ground. I love it. But you can find me on TikTok and all other platforms. Tall Lady Kitty.
All right, I think the best way to do this, let's just go around the table and let's just start with you, your respective club, just an overview of how the season's gone for you. Let's start with Manny. How have Arsenal done this season?
So far, honestly, I can't complain. We've had a tough start. Going away to Old Trafford to start off with. It's never an easy game, regardless of whatever time that you go to Old Trafford in the season. So to start off your season at Old Trafford, I'm not gonna lie, I don't think we played the best, but then again, you're playing at Old Trafford, first game of the season. A lot of the players are not 100% fit coming from pre-season. So to go away with a 1-0 traditional Arsenal win, I'll take it all day, but it wasn't the best of performances. And then obviously to follow on to that, we played Leeds at home, obviously smashed them 5-0 at home. So that was fantastic. And everyone thought, okay, we're onto something here, you know? And then we went away to Anfield. And you're thinking, honestly, like Old Trafford, Anfield, first 2 games away of the season. Yeah, it wasn't the best of games, I'm not going to lie. And I think it was one of those games where it could have gone either way. And from recollection, he had to take a worldie of a goal to obviously lose that game. Hands down, probably the best goal of the season so far. But then at the same time, I was like, how did David Raya not get a hand to it? But then you look at it, you analyze it, you're thinking, you know what, just give all the credit to Szoboszlai. Fantastic free kick. You can't go wrong. But yeah, he's been okay. 2 wins, 1 lost, respectively. And obviously we've got Forest at home on the weekend. So hopefully we can get back to winning ways.
Okie dokie. Kitty, how Forest done this season? How they doing?
How's Forest doing?
Yeah.
Right, it's the first time I'm going to mention it without crying. Can we just have a moment's silence for Nuno?
That's why I'm wearing black for you, Kitty. I just knew. I just had a feeling.
Thank you. Can we just have a moment for him? That man dug us out of seasons where we were clinging on by bare bones to the Premier League. Dug us out, took us to 3rd. And then something happened, and I don't know what it was. Something happened around about February, March, whether we had a falling out with somebody, and we started to slip. We started to do the old Forest thing, and it's transferred straight over. And I think this is whatever is going on behind closed doors has gone onto the pitch. I have theories. I have, my own thoughts on it. But I can't believe he sacked him. Yeah. And we all know, right? I don't hide anything here. I love Daddy Marinakis, and that's his official name for me, Daddy Marinakis, with his big pocket. And have what you want. Come in, take it. I love that. But I think he's gone too far. And his replacement, I want to see what's going to happen on the pitch, and I want to.
Who has replaced him? I don't even know, to be honest.
Big
Andrew from Chelsea, the one that done Chelsea.
Tottenham.
Tottenham. Yeah, there we go.
Ange Ball is back.
Okay. Angie's back, and this time it's personal. He's got backing. So yeah, he's back.
Let me just jump on this a little bit over here. To sack this man after what he has done for that fucking club is a fucking joke. Last season, you lot were turning teams over. Like, turning them over. That's fucking... This is disgraceful. Even right now, Nottingham Forest, you're above Man City. Only on goal difference, but you're above Man City. You still won a game. There's only 3 games in. How can you sack him? This is criminal.
I don't.
Absolute criminal to do what he done last season, just last season alone, mate. How can you sack that guy?
I have no words. I don't even know. People have been messaging me because everybody knows I'm Forest. He's going. I'm like, no, I'm going to hold on before I say a word, because we know what the press can do. We know that they can spin things, and before you know it, things are happening because of press, and that is it. They do it every time before World Cups. They do it every time before the Euros. They spin a story, and before you know it, they've screwed everybody's chances. So
Yep.
I don't listen to the press. So when people were coming for me and they're going, Nuno's getting sacked, I was like, shut up. Just shut up. I don't even want to. I'll just block you. I don't care. I get blocky finger. Not bothered. Don't come for Nuno. He's my little bit of a girl crush. Don't fancy him, but I just love him. And then
I would too. I think most football fans would probably love him too if he had done what he had done last season. The kind of football that I saw you lot, most of the time you lot cracked it, and you lot were, you were up 2 or 3-0 most of the time by half time, and these Man United over there, we're struggling to try and find one goal.
Yeah, but we were doing that with less touches on the ball. So whatever we was doing, it was magic. For a football fan to sit there and watch them not have the possession of the ball, but to get the points. We're all sitting there going, "What? Who is this? Who are this team?" There was unity in the dressing room. We could see it. The lads, if you've got Ola Aina on Snapchat, you've got entrance into the dressing rooms, because that guy just snaps everything. And you can see the unity. You can see that they're, brothers in arms almost. You said to me a long time ago, Brudsy, I think it was you was on about Ronaldo, and you said to me, do you know what? When Ronaldo left, it was like he'd cheated and left me for another woman.
Watching him play the first time he'd left and gone to Real Madrid, I was in mourning for at least 2 seasons, like watching him, light up the La Liga, scoring all these crazy. Honestly, because I named my son after Ronaldo. From the age of 17, I was talking about this yesterday. I was in love with Ronaldo. I loved him. I said when he was 17, I saw him. I said, this kid's gonna be the best in the world. Everyone laughed at me, but it didn't take very long for him to start proving it.
Well, you said that to me, and I thought I'd felt it with Elanga, right? He literally, as that shirt fell over that Newcastle United, I blocked him before it had even reached his block. I can't watch it. I can't see it. I don't want to. That was Elanga. I thought that's how it felt for you, and I was like, I get it. But then yesterday, when I woke up to the news that Nuno had gone, that was it. And I was like, if he goes to another club, how am I going to cope? How am I going to cope watching him with another team? That's mine. Get off. And I get it now. I mean, I've always been passionate about football. I can talk and talk and talk for forever about football. But that yesterday, and everybody came for me. And I just wasn't in the mood. So then to watch England as well, and all they were talking about at half time, and not even about England, about Nottingham Forest. And I was like, can we just give it a rest, please? Because I need time to post.
There's several clubs eyeing up old Anderson, aren't there? There's several clubs, I think he's gonna
Anderson's a baller.
And quite rightly so. I mean, that man can play. I mean, watching him on the under-21s was poetry. And I do believe that sometimes when you watch certain footballers, like you say, Ronaldo, it's like art. It's like watching an artist with a ball and going. Ronaldo, Szoboszlai's goal. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, Szoboszlai's goal. Let's go over to that because you said you thought he should have got a hand to it. When I see goalkeeper, I've made a video on this already. When I see goalkeepers giving more than three quarters of the goal to Premier League players, it just winds me up because these footballers practice free kicks all day long, whipping the ball up and putting it in the corner. You can't give him 3/4 and you know what? The fact that it was 30 yards out and it was dead central, He was just one more step. He was, to his credit, he is creeping over as the guy as Szoboszlai runs for the free kick. But if his starting position is central, he's got a 50-50 chance of getting it either way. Like, you know, that was my thought of it. But you know, let's start with that Arsenal Man United game. I felt robbed, my brother. I can't lie. I'm still upset about that. I'm still upset about that goal. To see Saliba attack the goalkeeper, elbow him, nudge him, and then everyone telling me, oh, the goalkeeper's weak. And then not a fucking week later, I see Martinez for Villa come out to try and punch a ball, and someone just gives him a little nudge with a bum, and they slough the goal. I couldn't fucking believe it. Honestly, I was fuming. Absolutely fuming about. I'm still upset about that. Arsenal fans are like, oh yeah, you gotta let that go. I'm not letting that go. I'm upset about that. That is just pure bias, man. Pure bias.
Let's be honest, like in history, like when we think back many years ago, when we played United, there's been some bad decision against us as well. You know, I mean, I'm talking the years of Martin Keown, Sol Campbell, Ashley Cole.
You're not gonna mention Rooney's when
I
Sol
mean,
Campbell took out Rooney.
you mentioned it.
That savage challenge.
You know, historically, we've always got it bad against United, and for once, we managed to get one that went in our favor. So I'll take it all day. And let's be honest about it. You can argue and say, okay, maybe he got a little nudge in terms of the keeper, but he could have been stronger. He could have dominated.
He should have been stronger.
Come on, brother. He could have been stronger.
No.
Come on.
I'm not having that. Listen. The new rules.
What?
There's new rules.
But they barely touched it.
No,
they barely touched it.
Bro, don't make me get this up, please. My man literally runs through one player to get his body in front of the goalkeeper. Literally, just before Bayern tries to touch the ball, you see his hip literally go into his body and nudge him off the ball. Like,
but you do know Mason Mount nudged Saliba into your keeper.
To be very fair as well, under the rules, that
we could have got a penalty.
Yeah, we defended that situation horrible. Like, you know, the new rules are the referees are going to give penalties for people pulling and tugging in the box. So seeing that, I suppose so. But just that,
it could have gone either way.
Yeah.
I think it's a rule that needs to have come in. There are some rules that I don't agree with, that like the too long on the ball.
It's the inconsistency as well, though. This is the problem, because it's like, you know, that's the main problem, because where you lot are cheering, you lot won your game, you're happy, but in 2 or 3, maybe when you're in the quarterfinals of the Champions League and something like this goes against you, you're going to be fuming. So
100%.
There should just be consistency in the game. That's it.
But you're never going to get that. I mean, you look at the Chelsea versus Fulham game just before the international break. They came out because the guy that was on the VAR for that game was supposed to be on the VAR for the Arsenal-Liverpool game. They had to pull him from that because of the mistake he made. Because obviously they disallowed the Fulham goal, which was a clean goal, by the way. But then a VAR literally chopped it off. You know, and that was a mistake by the VAR and also by the referee, because I was like, how can you punish the VAR but not punish the referee? Because the referee went to the screen. So he had the opportunity to say, you know what, I'm going to stick with my on-field decision here and I'm going to, you know, give the goal. But he went with the VAR. So you're never going to get consistency. Yeah, it's unfortunate.
He didn't just go with the VAR. He made he come out on the Tanai and he said the defender made a clear mistake, like, you know, and that should be 2 weeks salary, boy.
Honestly,
all the guy's done, is done like a kind of like a Ronaldinho kind of turn kind of thing. Everyone understands that turn, like, you know. And
if you've played football, you know this.
A player comes into him and just like, what? You've slid into me. You haven't won the ball. Like, how? You know, I've got to put my foot down eventually. So yeah, that was tough, man. That was tough.
How are you finding your season so far, though?
With Amorim, yeah, like I'm on the fence with him. Like, you know, I've done a lot of videos with him, and the system for me, like, you know, just I think the guy is too arrogant to think that he can come from the Portuguese league and come to the Premier League to a club with a reputation like Manchester United, and, you know, say, oh, we're going to struggle. Our players were bad. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Our players were bad. They was in bad form, but if you would have just played a simple 4-3-3 for that season, bro. You had Rashford, you had Garnacho. Those guys are gonna cook down the side. You may be by yourself. What I've been crying out, we need a strong, dynamic midfielder that can get crushed. Like, we need a Conceição. We need that sort of player in
Yeah.
there that can crush things up. So that frees up Bruno as well. Like now, for instance, like we've got Cunha, we've got Mbumo. The man just playing them as 10s. Like he's literally cutting off Bruno's and Bruno is now playing in this deep 6 role where if like the whole world can see he's not comfortable there. He can do it. He can do it because he's a quality player.
Yeah.
But it's like this guy's what's he got? 100 odd goals in the Premier League, 99 assists or something like that. This guy is this guy's a 10. Like, he needs to be there creating goals and doing that, and that's where he wants to be. And I think this time in his life, where in his age as well, he don't want to be just sat back like breaking up play, and that's not him. He doesn't want to do that.
No, Bruno's definitely like Manchester United. He wants that win, and he's so passionate about the club, and he'll go anywhere and play anywhere. I always say you turn and you watch a Man U game, and you turn and he's there, no matter where the ball is. Bruno,
God knows where we'd be without him. I'll tell you that for sure.
Yeah,
God knows
he's
where we'd
there.
be without him.
I think to misuse him the way he's being misused is criminal. And I do agree with you that he is so tunnel visioned with his view on how he wants to play that he is not accepting any other way. I will say this though, Nuno's free.
All right, good. Yeah, do you know what? Because it's his style. Like, for all the criticism, like, you lot ain't like. What's your thoughts on this, Manny, man?
Yeah, what's that?
You lot have actually perfected it. I watch you lot, and I'm actually quite envious. You lot are comfortable playing out the back.
Yeah.
And you've got a nice midfielder that drops in, cleans up the play, and moves it around. We, for whatever reason, haven't cracked that. So we're still trying to do it. It looks like a struggle. It hasn't looked too bad. I'm pretty sure you won't argue. I think we were. I would say that we were the best team, the better team for majority of that game against you lot, opening game of the season. I think most people saw that and thought, But yeah, man. I don't know. It's a tough one, man. It's a real tough one.
I mean, playing from the back is something that Arteta has literally implemented since day one. Especially, he didn't even have the players to do it, but he was still doing it. And to the point where you had pundits like Gary Neville saying he needed to change his style, Carragher saying that he's not working. But ultimately, we just knew that once you got the players in to play that kind of style of football, it was always going to work. And you look at it, for example, when we used to have Aaron Ramsdale, we thought we had a great goalkeeper. We all thought that. And all of a sudden, he got David Raya and everyone's like, hold on, what's going on here? But he wanted a better goalkeeper who knows can play that kind of football that he wanted to. That was a lot calmer. And that's basically what Arteta did. And you look at it and you're thinking, okay, now he's literally built the squad that can play that kind of style of football to the point where you've basically got the best defense almost in the Premier League, if not in the world, in terms of strength in depth. I mean, you look at Saliba and Gabriel, like the season before, you would have argued and said Saliba was the best centre-back in the world. Last season, you look at thinking Gabriel. Now you got both of them in the middle and you're thinking, the world is your oyster. But in terms of playing that from the back, I'm not going to lie. Early on, I was a bit like, what are you doing? Because we had people like David Luiz, Mustafi, Holden, and you're thinking, these guys can't play these passing in the box. And there was times that we did get caught. I mean, we got caught once in the Liverpool game, for example, but unfortunately, nothing materialized from that. So there are times that we can get caught. David Raya was a bit shaky in that Liverpool game, I'm not going to lie. But ultimately, I think we've got to a stage now, everybody knows the way Arsenal plays, and everyone's set up in terms of low block.
On that topic, the way Arsenal play, a lot of criticism. I remember, I'm pretty sure you remember the glory days of Arsenal, the lovely, beautiful football.
Oh, yeah.
There was this famous club that used to come and give you trouble, give you hell, actually, called Stoke City. And they used to be into these corner tactics and long throws.
Saw that coming.
And Arsene Wenger used to go crazy. We're here. What kind of football is these? And I understand a win's a win. You got to do what you got to do. I understand that, but it seems like you're really relying on that quite a bit. Like against the Leeds game, you look cooked. It was pure football, so it was fine. But this Liverpool against Liverpool Man United, it looked kind of shaky, bro. It did look like it just like are the fans willing to accept this style of football?
the thing is, I wouldn't say we solely rely on it. It's just another it's just another area of our play, because we still play the same way, like when we don't have set pieces. But ultimately, it's just another identification of how Arteta wants to play. Because, like I said, a lot of teams have sussed us out the way we play, pass the ball sideways, try to break through. We barely play long balls. We try to play through the team. So a lot of teams are like, you know what, we'll just sit back, low block, let's see if you can get through us. And if you've got great defense, great midfield, Arsenal are not getting through. However, so they looked at him for, what is the other way we can actually beat other teams and potentially score goals? And that's when they came up with the whole set piece thing. It took a while before everybody picked up on it, but now it's like everyone's picked up on it. Arsenal scored the most set piece goal in the last 18 months, and now it's a case of now people are actually practicing defending corners against Arsenal, even to the point where even you can even say, to a degree, even Thomas Tuchel has taken a little bit from that. Because you look at like the goal yesterday that Harry Kane scored came from a corner. Who took it? Declan Rice. So people are now trying to maybe sort of pivot and change their playing style to kind of, I don't know, to mimic the way Arsenal plays. Because a lot of teams are actually now trying to play set piece football in terms of corners. But it's just another way we play. But let's be honest, we've got fast players. We can play through teams if they come at us. And that's why a lot of teams don't come at us, because they know that if they come at us and they open up, we're getting through them because of the way we play. So it's just depending on who you play, depending on the day, you have to play according to that team. And I think the set piece is working, and long may it continue. I am not complaining.
I think with that style of football, what you've got to be careful is that and hopefully it's working for Arsenal, is that isn't your only play. You can play football as well as. And I think Thomas Tuchel has taken, like you say, the set play to the England team. But I think he's also bringing a little bit of everything from the teams. So, like you say, Arsenal, the set pieces, the playing in the midfield from another team, and so on and so forth. And I think that is the key, being able to take the best bits of each team and bringing it together.
Yeah.
I would say with Forest, it's their back four. Their back four is you can't get through them. I warn you now. So, we are without one of them on Saturday, thanks to a red card last night. Lenkovic was red carded last night and sent off, so he's not there on Saturday.
He'll play. It's club football, isn't it? He'll play.
No, yeah, but they don't carry over on international.
I thought it.
No. He'll play.
Ola Aina is injured. So.
Oh gosh. Okay.
So we're without him as well. So we're a bit. But I think the key is to find, like you said, the best bits of each team and bring it to the pitch, and that's how you make the super team.
Yeah.
I think Arteta has, like you say, he had his style of football and he brought it in, and it has worked. Unfortunately, Man United, he's tried to do the same, but it's not working. And I hope it's going to start working, but he was so tunnel vision to his views. He just wouldn't accept that it wasn't working last season. Now you've got your new players, and you've had this.
Talking about new players, is everyone happy with their signings this season?
I've lost track of mine. I don't know how many more we've got. We've got about 15.
I'm very happy with mine. Very happy.
Gyökeres, yeah. How many? He's got 2 goals, and 2 and 3 at the moment.
2 and 3 at the moment. Like I said, 2 difficult away games. Any other striker, any other player that's coming into the Premier League, going away to Old Trafford and Anfield will struggle. And I think a lot of people are failing to see this. They keep saying, "Oh, but he's been scoring for Sporting." It's different in the Premier League. The Premier League is not Portugal. Like you said at the start of the season, when you said about Amorim coming from Portugal to Premier League, he needs to adapt the same way. Like Wirtz needs to adapt. He hasn't been shining, but he's shown for Germany the other day. He scored a banger for free kick, but at Liverpool, he's still finding his feet. So I think we have to give these kind of players some time, and rather than criticizing them, and obviously I know he's banter all over social media, people saying 007, all this kind of stuff. I get it, but sometimes when I hear it from ex-professionals, sort of Gary Neville, Jamie Carragher, who's played the sport, and like after the first game against United, they're saying Jamie Carragher comes on Sky Sports and said, "Oh, if it was me, I'll drop Gyökeres and play Havertz against Leeds." I'm like, come on, It's the first game. Bearing in mind, this guy hardly had in the preseason. And I think we're forgetting that because of all the palaver that was going on during preseason with Sporting and everything else. He didn't get his move on time. So he barely had in the preseason. And again, obviously, Leeds at home, yes, albeit he scored 2 goals, 1 penalty, and the other one, he made it himself.
Yeah.
You can argue and say, oh, it's just Leeds. But in terms of like, we just need to be careful and just give these players some time, you know.
Paul Scholes was giving him a bit of a hard time on one of their shows. Actually, he said
Yeah.
that he plays like he's running in jeans.
That's from Paul Scholes.
From Paul Scholes, yeah. That's what he said.
I get the banter and I'm here for it. But sometimes I think we just need to take stock and be like, seriously, this guy's coming. It's 3 games in.
Yeah,
he scored 2 goals already.
Yeah, my thing about our signing, we signed Sesko and obviously spent like 70 odd million for him. 70, I think it's So how much did you lot play for Gyökeres?
I think it's about 65.
Oh, so I think
65 mil.
I think we paid. I don't know. I think we paid more actually.
I think you paid almost 80.
Yeah. So
for Sesko.
I was really not a fan of this, to be honest with you. Like, I really wasn't a fan of this. I felt Xerxes should be given a chance. This guy is underrated. Like last season, he showed a lot of what he could do in terms of hold up play, kind of like Kanu in a way. The way he's got really good feet and he was twisting up man boy. And this season, he's put on some proper timber. Like he's ready for the season. And I felt to myself, Amram, he makes some really weird decisions. Like, Højlund for me, he weren't great last season, but no one was great for us last season. Bruno got us through the season, but no one was great. I felt between Højlund and Xerxes, with Mbumo and Cunha, you can't not score goals. Like you can't not score. I think Amram should have just concentrated. If his midfield was the priority for his system, that's where everything starts. He knew that we had a shortage there. He should have spent that money on a freaking midfielder, and to spend it on a striker, an unproven striker. Fair enough if he goes and buys Ollie Watkins, and I know it's a proven striker, and then we say fine, or we can put our hat on Ollie, But these players, how many players come for big money from abroad, from the lower leagues, and actually do well in the Premier League? Like very rare. It's very rare that they come and they do okay, like very mediocre, and then they'll go to La Liga and then they'll light it up, or Serie A and light it up. The Premier League is different gravy. So for me, I need to see proof, man.
But can I ask you, sorry, Kitty, just a quick one. Because this has been going on for years with Man United, right? And I'm kind of like in a headspace, like, because I don't know if you watched the Rashford interview with Gary Lineker just before the international break.
I did.
And he basically said something about obviously the process and building and stuff like that. But how can you build if you keep chopping and changing managers? And he was obviously speaking about the style of play going from the academy all the way up into the first team. So regardless whether you're getting players from the academy into the first team, the playing style is playing field, everything is equal. But my question to you is, how long is this going to keep going on for? And is it a case of, is it the manager or is it the players are not buying into the manager's tactics? Because from an outsider looking in, it's looking like it's the players not buying into Amarim's tactics. That's just me.
Yeah, that's for sure. But you raise a good point, because it's like you have had so many managers, and managers all come with their own way of football and their own style of football, and it's very normal for when a manager comes in, he says to the first team, the reserves, the under-18s, he says, look, I want us playing this way, so like you pointed out. So we've had so many managers come in saying, imagine, they're like, the youth coach must be like, what the hell's going on now? Now you want us to play in a back three? So that is very confusing, to be honest with you. And Rashford and Garnacho, everyone knows what they are. They're pacemen. You put them out wide and they cook out wide. They might have a crap day, they might have a good day, but that's what they. If you put them out wide, they are going to do what you want them to do. You just what they needed. Rashford has played so much football. Rashford's nearly had Rashford had what's he had nearly 10 years of football already.
Yeah,
people don't realize.
I know.
He didn't have a break. Who got injured? I think it was Cavani got injured. And then we called Rashford in to play in the Champions League, and he came on, he done well, he scored for us, and then his next game was in the Premier League, and he scored 2 goals against, I don't know if you remember the club. It was
Arsenal. You just had to.
He came in and he scored 2 goals on his.
I didn't want to remember that, but thanks.
It was his Premier League debut, actually. He came in and he scored 2 goals. So you know what you can do. Rashford's not a bad player.
No.
Garnacho's not a bad player. They just didn't buy into the manager's system, and maybe they're a bit fed up of all the systems chopping and changing. It's a really difficult one, to be honest with you. And I feel like we just need to. The thing about it is, all the other managers, they did crap. Most of them did crap, but they still won something.
Yeah.
And this Amram fucker, he took us to the worst, the depth for the depth. Like, this guy took us to the dungeons. Like, 16th place in the Premier League. That is unheard of for Manchester United.
Yeah.
So the people behind him, maybe they are learning from past mistakes and not just being reactive. But for sure. One eye is on that scumbag this season from the board. If we start losing, I think 3 games, if we lose 3 games in a row, or as soon as we lose 3 games, I reckon that's going to be a review time for him. But
I said by the 10th game you'll know. By the 10th game you'll know whether he's here to stay or whether he's gone, because at that point you'll have seen. And I think it's horrible when a manager does lose the dressing room. I think it's absolutely awful, and I think it's so disrespectful.
Do you think Nuno lost the dressing room?
I do. I actually think he lost it.
Really?
I think he lost it in February. Something happened in that, I don't know what, but if you remember that season, just before Christmas, you and I were talking and you was like, no. And then they were just flying. And then something happened around about February or March, and we started losing. We were 3rd in the league. We were battling Arsenal, for that 2nd position. We were on fire.
You had slight hopes for actually winning the league. I remember we was whispering it a little bit. We were whispering it a little bit.
And I'd said to you that, I'm talking to the lads down the pub, and we're all saying our eyes are on Europe. This is the first time we've got Champions League in our eyes. And something happened round about February, and I don't know whether he lost the dressing room or there was something that just went off, but we started losing, and we started losing big with stupidity and settling, almost like you said, we was 3-0 up at half time, and then we'd come out and it'd be a completely different game. They were just like, well, okay, play football around us. And that was what was happening. I wonder as well, keeping Gibbs White, did we keep Gibbs White because Maranaka said to him, he's gone. He's gone. So was there some tension between him and Morgan Gibbs White? We don't know. There was something. Why did Elanga leave? Because Elanga was saying, this is my home now. This is my home. He went. He was there.
Unfortunately, these players with their contracts, and it's very
No, I totally agree. I mean, money talks.
And obviously Champions League for Newcastle as well.
Yeah,
it weren't enough for them to keep Sesko.
What's your opinion on Isak? Because I have an opinion, and people look at me and just go, "Woman." Would you have accepted him if you were the manager and he's done what he's done at Newcastle, and your boss comes to you and says, "Right, I'm buying Isak"? Would you want him?
In regards to how he's behaved?
Yeah, after how he's behaved, how he thought he was bigger than Newcastle, and how he went on strike. Would you want him at your club?
Yes, 100%. 100%. I would take him. There's no, Newcastle. This is. I don't want to be. I don't want to sort of drop you down a peg or two. But this is like big. This is normal for big clubs. If we want a player from a smaller club, they have to act a certain way. They don't normally do it as bad as what Isak done in terms of not. My man said he's never coming back. Never mind coming back to the club. He said he'd never come back to Newcastle again. Not like that was a bit harsh, but it is quite normal for this to happen. But you have to bear in mind as well, Gary Neville said it the other day, when clubs don't want you, they get rid of you. So the contract loyalty goes both ways. It's not there. If the club can get money for you, or they feel you're past your best, they get rid of you. They don't renew your contract.
Facts.
So one thing Isak can say is, I've done my best for Newcastle. They're in the Champions League. I've left them in a good spot. You bought me for 60 million. Now you're getting 120 million. Take the money and shut up.
Basically, you doubled your money.
I mean, morally, at Arsenal, you've had the nod. He's coming. Would you be happy?
In all honesty, I didn't like his behavior. but I'll be a hypocrite to say, oh, you shouldn't have done it because Gyökeres did exactly the same thing.
Yeah. I totally
You
agree.
know,
People
and
were
we wanted him.
like, I don't know whether I would, but that's me being a bit stubborn. Like, I don't believe that any player is bigger than the club, and I just don't.
Yeah.
Also, I was spoilt with Morgan Gibbs White because obviously a similar thing was happening with Morgan Gibbs White, and I'm sitting there waiting for it to happen, and then Daddy Marinakis opened his pockets, and we kept him. So maybe I was spoiled a little bit there, and there's me thinking, well, he could do it. Why has he done it?
Yeah.
I won't lie to you because the longer it did carry on, it was leaving a bad taste in my mouth. I was just like, this is just getting ridiculous now. It's either you're like, just get it sorted because you've basically become a villain in Newcastle now. If you go anywhere Newcastle, they're coming for you. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
You know, apparently I read on social media yesterday, apparently there's a restaurant that's made a burger after him. Calling it a Newcastle wrap.
No way.
Made out of the apparently it's made out of the IKEA meatballs and sauces and basically, IKEA Swedish and all that kind of stuff. So I had to laugh and I was just like,
that's guys. We have a new entry.
Another United.
Another United man.
Good afternoon, guys. Good afternoon. How are you?
It was getting lonely in here. It was getting lonely. Introduce yourself, sir.
Hey guys, my name is Konstantin. I'm the face behind Red Devils Corner. Not much to say about me. I'm just a United fan for 20 plus years. Not much to say other than that, to be fair. Okay. I love football in general. Yeah, that's kind of no surprises behind it.
What have you thought of the season so far?
I'm pleased with what I'm seeing, to be fair with you. I'm pleased. I mean, we are creating, but we are not clinical enough. That's what I can say so far. I definitely can see improvements from last season, 100%. And I think we are on the right path. I mean, we are getting rid of the dead wood, so that's another good sign. Yeah. We do have a few more players to unload and a few more players to bring in, especially in the midfield now. I think that's the only area we are lacking at the moment. But yeah, we are on the good track.
Yeah, it's been really tough because it's like I was just saying to these guys earlier, like I really didn't want us to go spend money on another unproven striker. I felt with the new signings in Mbeumo and Cunha, Xerxes and Højlund under rotation would have been enough this season, and he should have focused that money on the midfield that's pivotal to his system working. Like, what are your thoughts?
I think when it comes to the striker position, Højlund is the type of player that is driven by confidence.
Every player is.
No, but Højlund is more than the usual striker, if that makes sense. And after a few bad games at United, he was pinned down by the media. He was pinned down by the fan base. He was basically bashed from all sides. And I think that put him down way too much. And with that lack of confidence, he couldn't do anything. Yep. And also, if you look, he was not getting the servings he deserved. I mean, he couldn't finish what he couldn't get, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%.
Well,
and when he had, go on.
I was just saying, Rudzi said this though last season. We were saying that what is he, 5'7", 5'8"?
Yeah.
And they were serving him in the air. So what's the point in serving him in the air if he's a short player? You'd do that if he was a tall player. He just wasn't getting the service to score the goals. A striker is what I call a deadly assassin. They're waiting for those balls.
Yeah.
To nick those goals, and I don't think Højlund was getting that, and I think he got some bad press because when the reality is his job is to be there to score the goals. When he's not getting the service, he was getting it. And I just think it was so unfair that the press he got.
But also, if you noticed, when he was playing as a striker, he was also always on that left-hand side. He was never playing as a complete striker. He was always on the wing, on the left. He was never in front of the goal for some reason. I don't know why. Garnacho was way more in front of the goal than Højlund was.
Yeah, I felt sorry for Højlund because every game He never scored any goals. He never got no chances. But one thing he was doing was running and trying to close down. Like, my man spent all his time just doing all the dog work, like, you know, and then we'd get one chance. Garnacho would go down the wing, and then Hoyland would be waiting in the box. Please, cut it back, cut it back. Garnacho shoots straight over the bar. And it's just like, oh my God. But this is what I say about bad management. If a striker isn't scoring, you don't keep playing him. You rotate him. Give the guy a break. That's what he said. That's what Hoyland said as well in one of his interviews. He said, "Look, I was on my own. They just kept playing me, like, you know." And you can see it. Footballers are so transparent when on the pitch, and anyone that's played, you can see when someone's having a bad time, and you just keep playing him. Like, you should have just rotated him. Give him a break. Like, you know, just rotate the strikers. If they're not doing well, then they know.
I totally agree with what you are saying, but in the same time, that's how you build up the confidence in a player. And look at Xerxes. Yeah? Xerxes is the perfect example. Xerxes had a bad patch when it came to United, if you remember. And at some point, he was changed before halftime. I don't remember the minute exactly and the game, but he was changed in the first half, and he was booed out of the field, which was a bad move from the United fans. By the way, you should not do that. If we didn't boo Onana, don't boo a player that gives everything. But nevertheless, leaving that aside, after that game, he came back. But he came back like a king with new mentality, new play style. He proven what he can do. And I think that should have been the approach from Hoyland as well. Okay, I have a bad run right now. I'm going to training. I show my coach what I can do, and he can play me in that direction. Xerxes was definitely not a striker. You can see that. He's a more technical player than a striker.
Yeah.
And now he's played in a more technically ability wise role than a striker. So I think that's what Hoyland should have approached Amorim, just like Xerxes did.
It's how you that. I think if you do get the boos, it's how you deal with it. Do you go and run away and
Correct,
or do you go, right, I'm turning those boos, watch this, and you come out on that?
I could never fault his work rate. I could never fault his work rate. He was trying, but even Dallo would get chances, and rather than square it, there was a famous one last season where he should have squared the ball for a tap in. I'm sitting there, I had a fucking bet on that game as well. I'm sitting there waiting for Hoyland to cash my check. Just cross the ball. I was celebrating. My man shot straight across the goal. Like, you know, it's driving me mad. But guys, we're nearly at the end of it. I'm going to end with this final question, guys. Michael Owen done an interview with Rio Ferdinand, and he made a bold claim. He says that he was a better player than Wayne Rooney at 17.
No.
Oh, no way. There's no way.
No.
Let's go round. Kitty, you start.
No, it's not possible. Not possible. Wayne Rooney was actually in his prime at 17.
16.
In 17. He was in his prime. The man
Sorry, Manny. Do you remember the name Wayne Rooney?
Oh, stop it. I'm literally I was just waiting because the flashback in my head, I can still see it.
Yeah.
I can still see it. That top corner from when he was playing for Everton. Oh, sorry.
And this is when he was in his prime. It was Everton, and then he went and he learned football in Manchester United.
Yeah.
You get young players that are just talented, just absolutely talented, and then they go to their next club, and it's literally sort of manipulated to be beautiful. And that was Wayne Rooney. There is no way. Michael Owen, I don't even rate. Sorry, babe.
It's difficult. That's difficult. Red Devils corner. Owen versus Rooney.
It will always be Rooney, man. It will always be Rooney. He was brilliant from the second he stepped on that pitch for Everton, and he caught Sir Alex Ferguson attention immediately, just like Ronaldo did in his time, and he proven himself time and time again. And I think the difference between them are the decisions that they made in their career. And I think that's why when you say the best striker one of the best strikers in the Premier League, your mind straight away goes to Rooney, is because of the decisions and the gameplay they had during their Premier League tenure. I think that's the main difference.
Manny.
And Rooney was just brilliant.
Yeah, I agree with everybody, man. It's got to be Rooney. I'm traumatized by Rooney. I'm sure you know. From the age of 16 to when he retired, I'm traumatized by Rooney. It's like whenever he played against Arsenal, it's like his level just got up 1,000, and he always managed to score against Arsenal. And he was just always on it, especially obviously back in the day. From where we grew up, Arsenal United, that rivalry there, it was just phenomenal. So he's got to be Rooney. I think the only thing that Michael Owen, probably the reason why he's saying he was better than Rooney, I mean, sort of like what Dev Revel Corner said, it's like obviously decision in terms of club making, and obviously when Michael Owen went over to Madrid and eventually won the Ballon d'Or, that's probably the only thing he will ever have over Wayne Rooney. But in terms of influence in football, I'm sorry, but a lot of people will probably say Wayne Rooney. So yeah, definitely Wayne Rooney.
Yeah. I think listening to Owen's argument, and this is where I have to give him a little bit of credit. You know, he was the youngest. He came on the scene 17, 18, and he was the youngest top goal scorer in the Premier League. 18 goals, 2 seasons in a row. That was his claim to fame. But unfortunately, he got injured by his own admission. He got injured at 19. And
Okay.
he says he was never the same player from 19. So it's very difficult to try and weigh an argument. And he was comparing himself to all the strikers, saying there was no striker like me at that age. Like, you know, he was a clinical striker for sure. But, you know, I dare you lot to do this. Watch Wayne Rooney's greatest goals and watch Michael Owen's greatest goals. I watched it, even in his prime. There's no contest.
And that's what I'm saying.
Look at their England careers though as well. Michael Owen was in that mediocre England, if you get what I mean. We weren't doing what we were meant to be doing, and then you look at Rooney. You know, the magic came back to England, didn't it, in his period? And I just no, Michael Owen. Sorry, I just can't. No.
I truly believe that Rooney is so underrated nowadays. It's just because after he retired, he made those statements about Ronaldo, and everyone was crucifying him about it, and he became criminally underrated. People forget how good he was and how he showed up in big moments and when United needed him, even Everton, but mostly United. People forget, and just because people love Ronaldo, I think he became very underrated after his statements when he was trying to attack Ronaldo.
Do you think that has something to do with his press though? Because a lot of when you think of Wayne Rooney, you think of the press that he's got over the years and the off pitch.
100%.
I think that can overshadow his career sometimes, and I think that is the unfair part, that Rooney had this amazing career on the pitch, but unfortunately he will always be known as Granny Shagger.
Yes, 100%. 100%.
There is that, but when I think of Wayne Rooney, I don't think of stuff like that. I think of him ending someone's nearly 50 unbeaten streak. I think of all the great. I think of the debut in the Champions League against Fenerbahce, like, you know, that hat trick. You know, I think about the overhead kick against
Man City.
Man City.
Oh,
You know,
mate.
I think about all those great things.
Halfway, he's got to go from halfway line. Let's not forget that.
Halfway line,
Yeah.
right in front of David Beckham as well.
Did anybody watch the interview with Roy Keane and David Beckham on the podcast with Gary Neville, and they're talking about Alex Ferguson?
Yes, I watched that. Yes.
Have you watched it? That was quite. I don't think anyone was surprised by it, but how controlling Alex Ferguson really was. I think that's
the only way to keep a team like Manchester United in check. Look, in the last few years when management became soft, you cannot control them. The egos are too high. You cannot control it if you are not micromanaging every single bastard in that changing room.
Same with Brian Clough. We had Brian Clough, and he was like that. And you look now, and when I hear the story, sometimes I think, God, that was borderline bullying.
So, yeah, some of the stories, I just go when he spoke about Roy Keane and Brian Clough, and he said what he used to do is when the players come, he'd say, right, you want a contract, and he'd say, right, sign it here, and they wouldn't even know what they were getting paid, like, you know, and they literally had to just sign a contract blind, like, it's kind of like it wouldn't be allowed in this day and age, but but you know, Yeah, what's in my paycheck? What am I getting weekly? Just sign the contract if you want to play. Like, you know, that sounds a bit savage.
With agents, when agents came in, apparently he would send them out the room. He'd say, you know, like there was one apparently he was a big lad. He went, get that bastard out. I don't want to talk to him. You know, when I hear the stories now, he couldn't even do any of it. But I have always said Alex Ferguson and Brian Clough were very, very similar managers, and they literally ran their clubs under their thumb. So it was certainly a good watch if you get a chance to watch it and hear what they said. It was.
Yeah.
It's like you say, I wasn't surprised by it, but it was nice to hear somebody actually say it, because people like Brian Clough and Alex Ferguson have got this almost halo. You know, they were gods. In fact, Cloughie actually said it. He was the only god in Nottingham. But you know, I think to hear that they had this, they were human, and they were not as great as we all think. I think that was good to hear. Sometimes it's good to hear, not to have them up on that pedestal as much as.
Let's end this, guys. It's been great talking to everyone. Sorry, in Red Devils Corner, you came a bit late for us. Well, you did.
Sorry, buddy.
I called you late notice anyway. I was just like, I was just trying to get everyone back in and stuff. But let's go with the results this weekend. Arsenal. Let's get some predictions. Arsenal versus Nottingham Forest, and Manchester United versus Manchester City. Predictions. Let's go with Manny.
Arsenal.
Forest.
I'm going for
You've already nicked a kit. You can't have.
I'm going for a draw. I'll go for a draw in that one.
Really? Okay.
To be fair, all right, I'm going to say a 1-1 draw.
Okay. 3-0 Arsenal win.
Nah, that's bold. Nah.
I mean,
I'll go with a 1-1, bro.
You're forgetting before the international break, they lost 3-0 at home to West Ham. Just saying, but it's
Yeah,
okay.
but
That was lucky, bro. That was lucky from West Ham. Not gonna lie.
They're still lost.
I know.
And
For you lot, it's always when they lost, we win.
when a team loses like that, and don't forget West Ham lost like that before they came to Forest, very, very careful, because they've got something to prove on.
So do we. We lost against Liverpool.
Yeah. So it's going to be, that's why I'm thinking maybe it's going to be a bit of a clash, maybe a draw.
Okay.
I can see the draw, not gonna lie. I can see that.
I see a draw as well, but Manny, it's 3 against 1 over here. Well, we're not all thing. Let's go with the Manchester Derby debate, guys. Predictions. Manny, go for it. What do you reckon?
I think United will win this one.
Oh, I like that.
I think United will win. Mamouche is out apparently as well, so for City. So I think United got this one.
Is it at Old Trafford?
No.
It's at Man City.
Etihad.
Oh, right. Okay.
I think United got this one.
I'm going to say 2-1 Manchester United.
Yeah, I can agree with that one.
I think if we play this smart against City, like, you know, watching them in the Club World Cup, I was scratching my head. This team presses with everyone. Basically, their goalkeeper. Basically pressing with their goalkeeper. They are susceptible to counterattacks all the time. And hopefully we've got, I don't know if Cunha's back in, but we've got Mbeumo. I think Mbeumo's going to do his thing. He's going to continue where he left off. I'll go for the United 2-1 win. Tight one, maybe 3-1. Maybe we might nick it as well.
Don't forget, Man City got a new goalkeeper, so you can't score from corners.
I was about to say, no, we are not Arsenal, bro. Only Arsenal scores from corners. Yeah, I can see Manchester United showing up in big games, and this one is definitely a big game. We always showed up against City, and we always produced something that we didn't do the whole season. So I can actually see them winning 2-1 or 1-0, like a 1 goal difference. In the worst case scenario, I can see a draw, but yeah, I can see United winning this.
I will say this about Forest and Arsenal: you've got a problem here, because you know how Nuno plays. We know how
Nuno is gone.
We know how Ange plays.
Yeah, well, you know how Ange plays, but we don't know what Ange is going to do with the team that Nuno's left him.
Ange ain't going to. He's not going to change his way.
Same thing.
Exactly.
Exactly what
I'm just trying. I'm trying.
He never changed against when he was playing with Spurs, and he said he was never going to change. He's going to come with the same playing style with Nottingham Forest. whether the players are going to be able to buy into that. And you have to understand, I know you got a great defense, but the way Ange plays is all attacking. He doesn't know how to balance his defense. And I think this is potential. If you come for Arsenal are going to beat you.
That
This
might,
is-
yeah,
this
that
is-
might be a change. Yeah, that might be
this
because
scares me.
Forest are famous for like all last season they sat back, countered, and got everyone on the break. So if this guy comes in and says, "Look, week 1, you lot go attack," I don't know. I don't know. That might end pretty bad, to be fair.
Because the last time we played Nottingham Forest, I think it was at your ground last season when they interviewed Nuno, and he was like, "Why did you play that way?" He goes, "Because he knew Arsenal didn't have an out-and-out striker."
Yeah.
And he literally played 5 at the back. I don't see Ange playing 5 at the back.
No, this is what worries me about Ange. We all know what's coming. We all know. But and you know what I was really surprised at? Marinakis didn't actually stand in and be the manager. I actually thought, you know
I
what?
don't know if you guys are
Supposed to
aware
do
with
it.
Romanian football, like one bit. We used to have I think, I don't know, actually we still have it. Back in Romania, there's a team, everyone knows that team. It's Steaua Bucharest.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys know that? Yeah,
Yeah.
alright. So everyone knows it. So the owner of Steaua Bucharest, his name is Gigi Becali. That guy is the Romanian version of Marinakis.
Yeah.
Like
Wow.
the Romanian version, even worse.
Oh, okay.
Like if one of the players goes in press in the media and says something, a bullshit thing like, "Oh, I like her because she has like big boobs," you are out of the team.
Mm.
He's like
Yeah.
highly religious. He likes the coach of Steaua
Yeah.
goes into the game with a mobile phone next to him because Gigi will call him and say, "Oh, I want this player in."
What I'm thinking is happening. I actually think Ange is a puppet, and I think it's going to be Marinakis that's calling the shots. I
Oh,
genuinely
100%.
do you get what I mean? I mean, he is in that tunnel when they come off that pitch. He's in that tunnel waiting.
Well, he's been
out on the pitch.
influenced by Edu. That's why Nuno's no longer there.
Yeah.
He's been influenced by Edu.
I am actually shocked it took him that long to sack Nuno, though. I was expecting this sacking to come after he went on the pitch after that game, if you remember.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
Oh,
went
no.
on the pitch and had that go at Nuno. And then after like
Oh.
not even a month, he had a meeting with Ange. And I'm
Mm.
surprised it took him that long to actually replace him.
I think it was all legal, and I think it was he was trying to get the best deal.
But you lot weren't you lot disrupt the goal or something, or robbed the goal, or disallowed the goal when he stormed on the pitch?
No, that was it was Taiwo Irony when he knocked
that
it
was it. Yeah,
down.
that was it. Yeah,
Yeah, when our knee got knocked on the post, isn't it? Yeah, and it carried on.
The story is that Marinakis went onto the pitch to have a go, basically, like, oh, was he still playing? Why wasn't the official taking him off? Now, that's the official story. It wasn't Marinakis went and had a go at Nuno. But if you look at it, it looks like he's gone, what was happening there? You should have got him off.
Yeah.
We'll never know because the only people that know are those two. I think Marinakis is ready to start. I think it won't be long before he's the manager.
I truly believe that one of the biggest mistakes Nuno did was actually calling him out in the press like twice. I think that was one of the biggest mistakes he's done, and I think that was the last drop for Marinakis being called out.
Yeah.
You cannot do that. I love Nuno, but you cannot do that as a manager.
You can't bully somebody like Marinakis anyway. You can't bully him, and I'm afraid that's how it came across. He was trying to, like, he doesn't like me, I don't like him, and I think that's where I knew it would happen. I was just hoping it wasn't going to be this season.
I thought they would have sacked him at the beginning of the international window, just straight away. But I'm surprised it took that long. But yeah, it's done now. I think he's going to be going West Ham.
I'm going to wrap it up, so I know people have got to leave. I'm going to wrap it up.
Sorry, yeah, go on.
Thanks everyone for coming in, guys. We've got plenty more shows lined up from. This was just a very introduction to everyone. You can find everyone's socials below. Going to end this really quickly. Peace and love to you guys.